Are you someone that's currently in a calorie deficit, but you're not losing weight? Here's why. Hello and welcome. If you're new to my channel, my name is Chris and I'm an online fitness coach for women. And in today's video, we're going to talk about why you're not losing weight even though you're in a calorie deficit. Before I begin, if you're watching this video right now, I want to kindly ask you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs and I'm currently at 606 subs. So if you're someone that's trying to get in good shape, right? I know I talk about helping women on the channel, but I definitely talk to men as well. So if you're someone who's trying to get in good shape, you want to understand fitness, nutrition, calories, how to lose weight, keep it off, build muscle, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I definitely appreciate it. Now, back to our regular schedule program. So when it comes to a calorie deficit, right? If you've been watching my videos, you already know a calorie deficit is when you burn more calories than you consume. And you can do that by either being more active, right? Putting yourself in a deficit by being more active, burning more energy, or just consuming less food. Because basically food is calories, is energy. So there's two ways to do that. And typically I always teach my clients to just consume less food because being more active is a bit more difficult when it comes to putting yourself in a calorie deficit. Now, right now, you're someone who's in a calorie deficit and you're not losing weight. Here's the exact reason why you are not losing weight while being in a calorie deficit. And the answer is you're not in a calorie deficit. That's just it, right? You're not in a calorie deficit. Most people believe that they're in a deficit and they're not losing weight because it's something with their metabolism or something with their hormones. No, it's not. It's none of those things. If you are in a deficit, you will lose weight. There's no being in a calorie deficit and not losing weight. So if you're someone right now telling yourself you're in a deficit but you're not losing weight, that's not the case. You're just not in a deficit. And here's the reason why. Somewhere along the way, and if you're tracking calories, then you can really understand this, right? Because if you're someone who's not tracking calories, then my question to you is, how do you know you're in a calorie deficit? Because you don't have any data. So I'm assuming that you're someone who is tracking calories, because I constantly tell you here on my channel, download MyFitnessPal and start tracking your calories because it's going to give you data. When it comes to losing weight, you want to know how much calories you're consuming. And obviously, for healthy reasons, you want to make sure you're having high quality food, but you can still lose weight as long as you're in a deficit. So if you're someone who's saying you're in a deficit, but you're not tracking calories, my question to you is, how do you know you're not? Like, how do you know you're in a deficit? You don't have any data. And what you're probably doing is guessing and like, you don't want to guesstimate. Don't do that. You want to make sure you actually have the data as far as why you think you're in a deficit. So now that I got that part out the way, I'm not talking to someone who's not tracking calories. Now I'm talking to someone who is tracking calories. So for the individuals, for you guys that are tracking calories, here's what's going on. You're doing a good job. You're tracking your calories. You're tracking it every day. And you're probably saying to yourself, I'm putting in all this effort. I'm making sure I'm putting in my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, my snacks, and I'm hitting my calories, but I'm not losing weight, right? And let's say, for example, you calculate your calories and you realize you should be at 1,700 calories to lose weight, right? And you put in your calories every single day and you're hitting 1,700 calories and you're saying to yourself, what's going on? The scale's not budging. I'm not losing weight. Here's what's going on. Somewhere along the line where you tracking your calories from morning time, midday, at night, somewhere along the line, you are having more calories than you think you are. You are actually at maintenance or you're probably in a surplus, but you're definitely not in a deficit. So what you need to do is make sure that you are accurately tracking your calories because somewhere along the lines, you're like having more food. So think about everything you're eating. And I want you to be honest with yourself and think back to this. Are you tracking every single thing that you're eating? Okay, if you're missing something, then that's probably the reason why. Because when you're in a deficit, your weight is gonna drop. And when you're in a deficit long enough, it's gonna drop even more and more and more. So you are not accurately tracking your calories all throughout the day. There's something that you're having that you're not tracking, or you are tracking every single thing that you're eating, but you're not tracking the right amount of calories. So you probably think to yourself, oh, I'm having 1,700 calories because this is what I'm tracking. But you're probably having 1,800, probably having 1,900. You're probably having more calories than you think you are. And that's pretty much what's going on. So you're not in a calorie deficit, just so you know. Nothing's wrong with your body. There's nothing wrong with your metabolism, more than likely. There's nothing wrong with your hormones or anything like that. With your genetics, there's nothing wrong. It's nothing about you being older, whether you're 30, 40, or 50. There's none of that. And being older, it can be a little bit harder to lose weight, but you just gotta be more active. It's not even like an age thing because you have some people who are 40 and 50 and they're still pretty active and they work out and they're perfectly fine. Like, it's not to say that your age is the reason why you can't lose weight. That's not it, right? You can lose weight regardless of the age, right? There's people losing weight at 40, 50, and 60 years old. It's the same thing. Calorie deficit, it's all science. So when it comes down to that, you're just not tracking your calories. So now that we covered that you're not in a calorie deficit, right? So don't think to yourself you're in a deficit and you're not losing weight. There's something wrong with your body. That's not the case, right? Now that we uncovered that that's not the case, right? Now we have to understand what is it that you're eating throughout the day that you're not tracking in MyFitnessPal, or what is it that you are tracking but you're over tracking how much calories it is. So let's say you're having a bagel, right, every morning, and you're having a bagel with cream cheese. Are you tracking that there's cream cheese on the bagel? Because some people may just track the bagel, excuse me, and they may not track the cream cheese. Maybe you're having peanut butter and jelly and you're just tracking the bread, but you're not tracking the fact that there's peanut butter and jelly. A lot of times people don't track their liquid calories because for some reason we just tend to forget that there's calories in liquid as well as too. It's not just always solid food. So somewhere along the lines, you're not tracking everything and you're actually in a maintenance phase. You're not in a deficit phase. So you want to actually go back to every single thing that you're having. So after this video, go back to everything that you're having and say to yourself, okay, am I tracking every single thing? Because when you don't track every single thing, you start to have the wrong data, and then you start thinking to yourself, something's wrong with you and there's nothing wrong with you. After you've gone back and checked that you are tracking every single thing that you're eating and you're tracking everything accurately enough, and if you don't know how to track everything accurately enough, what you should be doing when it comes to tracking calories is you should have a food scale and you should weigh your food in grams, and then you take that information and you put it into MyFitnessPal, right? So you should definitely have a food scale. If you're someone that's taking this weight loss very, very seriously and you want to see the results, make sure you get yourself a food scale. And once you get a food scale, you're a whole lot better. And the food scale is great. You can keep it forever and you can always just kind of just know where you are when it comes to calories. Okay, even when you get in shape, like even for me, like obviously I'm in good shape now, you would still want to have a food scale just to have that practice of saying, okay, I know what to do if I ever see myself falling off. Because I can always just go back to my food scale and just say, okay, I have a food scale, I know what to do. I don't have to worry about going and getting one because I learned the habits, the skill set of having a food scale and track my calories, because you want to get in shape and then stay in shape. You don't want to have to you don't want to gain the weight back and have to like lose it again. You want to get in shape and stay in shape. And along with having that food scale, now what you want to basically do is just make sure that you're tracking everything, as I said, and then make sure you're tracking it accurately enough. Because when you have a food scale, you know that you're getting the right numbers, because the calories in the food basically comes down to the weight. So you want to know how many grams is this food, how many grams is that food, right? I typically track it in grams, but once you know the grams, now you know the calories. You have a better estimation of the food volume that you're having. Because when you're just guessing, it's not gonna work for you. If you don't have a food scale right now, definitely get one. But if not, you can go on to this website I use with my clients. It's called Calorie King. I can leave it down below in the comments. It's called Calorie King. And Calorie King is basically a website where you can go in and put in the type of food that you're having, and it can kind of give you more of a breakdown of how many calories that you're having. Now, when you go into MyFitnessPal, MyFitnessPal has a pretty big system to where their drop-down menu of food options is so long that whatever you're eating, it probably has in MyFitnessPal. So, and I think that list grows more and more. So whatever you're having, you put it in MyFitnessPal, you're more than likely gonna find it, but you may find different versions of it. So when you find like a bagel, you may find like 5 or 6 different versions of a bagel, depending on how many calories it has, and like all those bagels can have different amounts of calories. So you don't know if you're putting in the right amount of calories for the bagel that you're having, right? Because you may think to yourself, oh, this is only 200 calories and it's actually 400 calories. And now you just miscalculated your calories. So now you're off by 200. And this is what's probably going on with you when it comes to thinking you're in a calorie deficit, but you're not. Because the calories you are reporting in MyFitnessPal is not the calories you're actually having. And that's why you're not losing the weight. So you're gonna have to not necessarily drop your calories just yet. What you're more than likely gonna have to do is make sure first that you're tracking your calories accurately enough, right? Make sure you're tracking everything, and make sure you're tracking everything with the right number of calories. Now, if that doesn't work, now what you wanna do is say to yourself, am I sure that this deficit number is my calorie deficit number? Because sometimes we are tracking everything right, which is rare because some of us do make mistakes. You are tracking everything right, and you're tracking everything you're eating and you're tracking the calories the right way, the number of calories, but maybe your calculations as far as where you should be at to lose the weight is not right. So maybe you're telling yourself you should be at 1,700 calories. Maybe you should be at 16. Maybe you should be at 15. Remember, it's supposed to be 500 calories below your maintenance. And that can be tricky because maybe you miscalculated your maintenance. So maybe you thought your maintenance was 2,000 calories. So you said, let me go 500 calories below, which is 1,500. But then you realize maybe your maintenance wasn't 2,000 calories. So you got to go back to the drawing board is basically it. And for those of you that may not know, in my previous videos, what I always say is to find what your maintenance calories is, you want to go on to Google and type in TDEE calculator. And once you type that in, it's typically the first link. Put in all your information and it's going to give you a rough estimation of where you should be as far as your maintenance calories. Once you start consuming those calories, right, whatever number it gives you, you should take a good look at your weight and see what it does. Does your weight go up? Does it stay the same? Does it go down? Which is probably going to either stay the same or go up. And if it goes up, that means you're having too many calories, right? If it stays the same, then you're pretty much probably at your maintenance. And then what you want to do after realizing that you're at your maintenance, what you want to do is now start dropping the calories very, very slowly, not fast, not aggressive, drop it slowly so your body can catch up to what's happening. Because your body's going to get in shock if you just go from 2,000 calories to 1,300 calories. That's way too big of a drop, and your body was not like that. Also, when you're dropping your calories, you want to make sure your protein is still high because we want to preserve the muscle, right? We want to preserve and build a muscle. But in a deficit, building muscle is probably not going to happen. So you want to at least preserve the muscle, right? Building muscle more comes from being in a surplus. But if you're a newbie, there's a chance that you can now build muscle and burn fat. And that's something you kind of get from the fitness guides in the beginning. So you can burn fat and build muscle at the same time if you're a newbie. But if you've been training for a long time, you've been in the gym, working at home, that shit done long gone sell. So that's not something that you're gonna be able to do. Now, with all that being said, I want you all to go back to the drawing board and see exactly what you're doing because it's definitely something that you're miscalculating 100% because your body's not gonna lie to you when it comes to where you are. Like the scale could be kind of like, playing with you. One day you're going up in weight, you're going down. But if you are in a calorie deficit, you're gonna lose weight. Now, what could be happening too that comes to mind as I speak to you all is that sometimes we're not giving our deficit enough time. Like my question to you is, how long have you been in a calorie deficit? Okay, if you've been in the calorie deficit for like 5 days, then you need to get that way, way, way more time. You should be in a deficit for at least 14 days. And then you wanna see if you're losing weight. Because if you're in a deficit for like 2, 3, 4 days, that's not enough time. You wanna be in a deficit a lot longer because a lot of us are so in a rush to lose weight that we don't give ourselves enough time. And I think one of the biggest issues with people losing weight is that they're not patient enough. If you're someone who just learned how to track calories, you're doing the whole macros thing, which macros can get kind of difficult, so just stick to calories for right now. But if you want to learn macros too, that's fine, but that could get kind of tricky. But if you're someone that's new to tracking calories, right, you may start feeling like overwhelmed and you may start wanting to see the results a whole lot sooner. If you're someone that's not going to the gym at least 3 to 5 times a week or working out at home 3 to 5 times a week and you're not hitting your calories every single day, don't go look at the scale because I don't know what you expect to see. It's like if you was not going into work for the week, don't look in your bank account expecting to see that you got a paycheck, that you got paid. You're not gonna get paid. You didn't go into work all week. So what were you expecting, right? Unless you're on vacation or something, then that's different, right? To my understanding, if you're getting paid on vacation, then that's fine. But if you know that you wasn't coming into work the whole week, then you're not gonna get paid. So don't look at your bank account because you're not gonna be happy. So same thing goes for you guys. When you're working out, stop looking at the scale. Stop putting on your clothes to see if you're losing weight. Do the work, 3 to 5 workouts for the week, right? Lifting weights and hitting your calories. Once you're hitting your calories and you're working out 3 to 5 times a week, lifting weights, doing resistance training, either body weight training, you're using the strength machines, or you're using the free weights, that's all resistance training, so you're still good. You wanna do that 3 to 5 times a week and make sure that you're hitting your calorie goals. And if you're in a deficit, another way to know you're in a deficit is that you will start feeling hungry. If you're not feeling hungry, then chances are you're not in a calorie deficit. And that's something else to look out for too. So you wanna make sure that you know you're hitting your numbers and you're actually in a deficit because you're gonna start losing weight. It's not gonna be something that just happens, but you're not losing the weight. That's not how the body works, right? So if you're in a deficit, you lose the weight guaranteed. All that being said, if you're someone who would like a lot more help or a little more help when it comes to losing weight, you're tired of being overweight, you want to lose 20, 30, 40 pounds, or even more, 100 pounds. I have a client right now, she's lost now 60 pounds and we have about 40 more pounds to go, which is amazing. And she's lost about 50 pounds within the first year. And that takes a couple more fat loss phases. Because when you lose weight, you have to go through 1, maybe 2, 3, or even 4 phases, because you may not get all the weight loss in that first phase. But if it's someone that's trying to lose weight and trying to build muscle and you don't know what to do, and you want someone to write a program for you, you want someone to work with, a coach that you can work with, that's gonna text you, give you one-on-one calls weekly, check in with you, have a whole system laid out for you, where I tell you exactly what exercise to do, I tell you exactly what foods to eat, what calories to hit, and basically have you destined for success. Click the link below, right? Click the link below, fill out my application, and it's gonna give me some information on you and where you are, and it's gonna tell me if you're a good fit for the program. As I always say, if you've been watching this video for the whole time and you like what you're hearing, click the link. You're probably already a good fit for the program, but you have to be mentally ready to do this. When it comes to losing weight, what I've learned over the years of me being a coach is that if someone's not mentally ready and if they don't believe it, they're not gonna do it. Okay, if you don't believe it, you're not gonna do it with enthusiasm, and you need to do it with enthusiasm and believe it. Because if not, you won't work out, you won't hit your calories, and you have to actually believe you can lose the weight. I understand that some of us, when we've been trying to lose weight for such a long time, we don't believe it. And we start thinking to ourselves, oh, this is not possible. It is possible. You've just been doing it the wrong way for such a long time that now you think you can't accomplish this. And you can definitely accomplish this. So click the link below if you think you'll be a good fit, and we'll talk soon.